I also want to address right now the question of reopening. People have asked, Pastor Chris, when are we going to reopen? When are we going to get going? Did you see, the president? And people have been sending me articles and things to read and things to consider. And I thank you for all those things. This is a big question. And over the next 2 weeks, the goal is to have a plan. The goal is to have a plan for how we are going to begin regathering in a physical way. But I want us to use that language, regathering physically, not reopening, because we never closed. Okay, let's just be clear. We never closed as a church. We've got 13 life groups online. We've got Bible classes online. We've got youth online. We've got kids Zoom meetings online. We've got lessons being put out for the kids. We've got church online service. We've got people serving the community in small groups, Maple Leaf Community, the Chelsea Assisted Living Home. We've got a life group that purchased lunch for a fire department, and they were just wrote us a letter thanking us. So things are happening. The church is still being the church. But we are not meeting physically, and we miss that, and that's important, and we want to start doing that again. How we do that, however, is very, very important, and there's a lot of things that we need to consider. First of all, there's laws and policies. There's federal laws, state laws, local laws that we need to consider. There's also policies that the school is going to hold us to, where we rent, and we're talking with them. If we were to rent from another church building, they all have their own logistical policies that they're going to force us to adhere to. And so I've got a few calls out trying to just gather information in that regard. So these are things that we need to take seriously and consider before just rushing into, regathering. Second big thing to consider is where our people are at. That's you guys, our True Life Church. It's a very diverse, eclectic community. I love that about our church. It doesn't make things simple all the time. We've got people on one end of the spectrum saying the government has overreached, the government has overstepped, let's get going here. And then we've got people on the other side of the spectrum saying, listen, even if the law was to change and we could gather 200 people tomorrow in the school, you ain't going to see me. I'm waiting until there's a vaccine, because I've got a family member who's immunocompromised. And then most of us are somewhere in between. And what we want to do is find out where our church is at. We're actually going to be putting out a survey in the next couple weeks that you're going to get, that you can fill out. It's not a vote of things. It's just to find out where our people are at. My wife, who's in research, she's going to help me with this survey to make sure we're asking the right questions and collecting the right data. We've got leadership teams who are going to be meeting to discuss this and what this looks like. Again, the plan is, or the goal is to have a plan within 2 weeks. A third big factor we need to consider and be praying about, and this is very important, so please, please, please listen. God may be giving us a chance to reset some things about our church in this time. He's giving businesses a chance to reset. Talked to a business owner the other day who said, hey, I've been looking for an opportunity to change some things for a while. This is my opportunity here. Families have a chance to reset some rhythms. There are things that my family has been doing in quarantine that we want to keep doing. It's been good. We want to keep going long term. So there's some things as a church that we've been doing online that we may want to continue. And it also means that there's some stuff that we used to do in the old normal that we're not going to bring into the new normal, because God is no longer calling us to use those mechanisms to reach the culture in the new season that our culture is going to be in. Right? So we don't want to rush back into the old normal when God might be saying, I got a new normal I want you to take some more time praying about and considering here. So those are the three big factors that we want to be considering and praying about before jumping into things. I said at the very beginning of all this that we are not going to react in fear. We're not going to react impulsively. And I still say that. I stand on that. We're not going to act in fear of the virus, but we're also not going to act in fear that I think some churches might be slipping into. I'm not judging anybody's hearts here. Where we got to reopen now or we're going to lose people. We got to reopen now or we're going to lose offerings. That's not what we're going to do. We're not going to react in fear in any way. We're going to go slow. We're going to be intentional. We're going to be deliberate. We're going to be prayerful, and we want to move forward in a unified way, because the church is called to proclaim and demonstrate the love of Jesus to the culture, and we need to do that in a unified way. That hasn't stopped us. The pandemic hasn't stopped us, so we haven't stopped doing that, and we want to make sure we're going to continue to do that in a united way. So Stay tuned for more details on this topic.